Hi, this is Helen and welcome to my channel. Today's class is a short and sweet flow for hip mobility. You may need a blanket and a couple of blocks. If you don't have them, it's not a problem. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you on the mat. So we'll start in a wide-legged child's pose. So bring the knees as wide as the mat with the big toes touching. Seat comes to the heels. You can always place a blanket underneath the sit bones if you find it difficult to sit back. Arms extended in front with the forehead to the earth, connecting the third eye. And just surrender here and focus in on your breathing. Feel that stretch from the tailbone all the way to the tips of the fingers. Widen in the upper back, widen in the collarbones, surrendering down. One more breath or so here. And then on an inhale, we'll come up to tabletop for cat-cow. So knees under hips, hands under shoulders. And on an inhale, the chest lifts and the belly dips. As you exhale, round the spine, cat. Inhale, lift the head for cow. Exhale, round for cat. One more time. Inhale for cow. Exhale, cat. Return to a neutral spine and we'll move into thread the needle. So on an inhale, right arm lifts to the sky, and as you exhale, thread it underneath the left, bringing the right shoulder and right ear to the floor. You can lift the left arm to the sky, maybe fold it behind and tuck it inside your thigh, or you can leave it on the floor, whatever feels good for you. Just feeling this twist in the back, and then come out the way you went in, and return to tabletop. Inhale, left arm lifts. Exhale, left arm threads underneath the right, left ear to the floor, maybe tucking that right hand inside the left thigh, maybe not. Breathe in here into the twist into the back, and then release the hand and come back up to tabletop. On an inhale, right leg extends behind and swing it across to the left side of the mat, looking over the left shoulder at your foot, feeling that stretch in the right side body in the obliques, and back to center. Second side, left leg extends behind, left foot to the floor, looking over the right shoulder at the left foot. Then inhale, back to center, back to tabletop. Right knee lifts to the side in a fire hydrant, then rotate the hip in the socket, bending the knee to the back, then down to the floor. Keep moving in this circle, so imagine you're drawing a circle with the knee, and then we'll go the other direction. So lift the leg back, knee out to the side, down to the floor. Back, out to the side, down to the floor. Back, out to the side, down to the floor. Second side. Left knee lifts, round to the back, down to the floor. Lift the knee, rotate to the back, down to the floor. Knee to the side, rotate to the back, down to the floor. Now reverse the movement, lifting the left leg up, back, out and down, back, out and down, to the back, out to the side, down. Extend the right leg behind and then place the right toes on the outside of the right mat and sit back onto the left glute, onto the left heel, feeling this stretch in the right side hip. This can be quite intense. Fingertips are in front, and then release, and we'll do the second side. So left toes outside the left side of the mat. Sit back to the right glute, to the right heel. Breathe in here, feeling the stretch in the left outer hip. And then come back to center. Move the hands about one handprint in front. Tuck the toes. Come into the first downward facing dog. So hands are around shoulder width. Feet around hip distance apart. Bend the knees and lift the sit bones to the sky. And then start to descend the heels towards the earth. They never have to touch. Upper back is wide. Core is engaged. Maybe pedal out the feet. Ears are between the biceps. Gazing point is around the middle of the mat. Then start to settle the heels down. Inhale the right leg to the sky into three-legged dog, and then bend the knee and stack the hips. So you're in this scorpion tail. Shoulders are parallel to the earth. Then extend the legs straight back, neutralizing the hips. Then step forward, right foot between the hands, and come into a low lunge. Back knee descends to the earth and sink here into the hips. So pull that right hip back and the left hip forward. Core is engaged, feeling the stretch in the left hip flexor. You can release the left toes down to the floor, then plant the hands, move the hips back for a hamstring stretch on the right side. So bending from the waist. Don't worry about how far forward you come. Then release back to that low lunge and step back, downward facing dog. Left leg lifts to the sky, stacking the hips, bending that left knee, scorpion tail, second side. Shoulders remain parallel to the floor, feeling that opening in the hip. Then extend the leg back, behind, step forward, low lunge, left side, knee over ankle, descending into the hips, stretching out that right hip flexor, maybe releasing the right toes to the floor, pulling that left hip back, right hip forward, breathing here, then plant the hands, move the hips back for hamstring stretch on the left side, breathing deeply, and then bend forward into the knee, plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts to the sky. Exhale, right foot steps up again between the hands, bring the back knee to the earth, interlace the fingers above the right thigh, and then extend the hands up to the sky. As you exhale, lean over to the right, bringing the right hand either to a block or to the earth, whatever is within your reach, for this side bend towards the right. So you should really feel this in the left hip flexor and the left side body. Then inhale, come back up, plant the hands, and again move back into this hamstring stretch. So maybe this time you go a little bit deeper, really press in that heel into the earth, then plant the hands and step back, downward facing dog. Second side, left leg lifts to the sky, left foot steps up between the hands, bring that right knee to the earth. Inhale the arms to the sky, and as you exhale, tip over to the left, maybe bringing the left hand to a block or to the earth, reaching out of that right sideways, feeling that stretch in the right hip flexor, down the right side of the body. Then exhale, hands come down, and again move back into this hamstring stretch on the left side, tipping from the waist, grounding that left heel into the earth, opening the back of the leg, and then step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts to the sky. Exhale, right foot steps up between the hands, and on an inhale, come up to high lunge. So right knee above right ankle, front ribs are in, core is engaged, arms straight and strong to the sky. Breathe in here. Back leg is also straight and strong. And as you exhale, twist round to the right. So left hand comes forward, right arm comes back. Twisting from the waist, keeping the hips neutral. Inhale back to center. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, left foot steps up between the hands. Inhale, come up, high lunge. Left knee over left ankle. Few breaths here, engaging the core, feeling the strength of the legs. And as you exhale, twist round to the left with the right arm coming forward, left arm coming back. Twist is from the waist, hips remain parallel. Inhale back to center, and then exhale, plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog. If you like, you can take a vinyasa, coming forward to plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg to the sky, and exhale, right foot steps up. between the hands. We'll come up warrior two. So this is front heel to back arch alignment. Right knee is above right ankle. Shoulders above the hips. Right arm is forward, left arm back. Breathe here. Then inhale, reverse the warrior, bring in the left hand to the back of the left leg. Feeling that side stretch in the right. Come forward into side angle. So your hand comes inside the front leg, either on a block or to the earth, reaching out of that top arm, left palm to the front of the mat. Gazing point is the left palm. Then inhale, come back up, warrior two. Cartwheel the hands down. Maybe take a vinyasa or go straight back to dog. Breathe here. Second side. Inhale, left leg to the sky. Exhale, left foot steps up. Coming up, warrior two, heel to arch alignment. Left knee above left ankle. Left hip sucked under. Arms to a T. Gazing point. Fingertips to the front hand. Breathe here. And then inhale, reverse the warrior. Right hand maybe on the back of the right leg. Inhale, come up, move into side angle. And utilize the block on the inside of the front leg, or you can also put the elbow on the thigh, whatever is within your reach and whatever feels good for your body. Inhale, back up to warrior two, cartwheel the hands down, step back, take a vinyasa or go straight to dog. Take a free breath here. Then inhale, right leg to the sky. And exhale, right foot comes outside the left hand for lizard pose. So bring the back knee to the earth, and this might be your position with both hands on the earth inside the right foot. This is quite a deep hip opener, so stay here, or if it's within your reach, maybe bring the elbows to a block, or they can come to the floor. If you want to go a step deeper, tuck the back toes and lift the back leg off the floor. Breathe here. You can rock gently backwards and forwards if you've got the toes tucked. It just gets in a little bit deeper. It's a very intense hip stretch. Then come out the way you went in. Step back, downward facing dog. Left leg to the sky. Left foot steps outside the left hand. Descend the back knee. Both hands are planted inside the left leg. Stay here, or maybe bring the elbows down to a block. If you want a bit more, elbows can come to the earth. If you still want more, you can tuck the back toes and lift the back knee off the earth. Whatever feels good for you. Maybe rock backwards and forwards on the toes if you've got them tucked. Getting in a little bit deeper. Always remembering to breathe. Go into your edge and not being in pain. And then gently release the pose, coming out the way you went in. And step back to downward facing dog. If it feels good, you can take a vinyasa. Otherwise, just stay in dog, reconnect with the breath. Inhale, right leg lifts to the sky, and exhale, right foot comes forward for pigeon pose. So right knee to right wrist. If this is too much on your knees, you can always do thread the needle on your back, like I'm demonstrating on this other video. Otherwise, just come forward into pigeon and surrender down to the earth. So try and keep a little bit of weight in the left hip, so you balance out the hips. Bring the third eye down. Surrender and breathe. This is another deep hip opener. These poses require us to surrender and relax. They can be very intense. All of our emotions. They say are held in the hips, so if you're holding on to something, you may have tight hips. And then come back up, swing the left leg round, and we'll come into a seated twist. So you can have the right leg bent, or you can have the right leg straight, whatever feels good for you. With it bent, it's a little bit more intense on the hips. Inhale that right arm to the sky, and as you exhale, twist around to the left, maybe hooking the elbow outside the left knee. As you inhale, lengthen the spine, and as you exhale, rotate. Breathe in here. Twist is from the mid-back. The sacroiliac remains neutral. Then come back to center, and we'll move into Gomukhasana. So you can keep the right leg bent, or if this is too much, you can extend it straight for half Gomukhasana with the left leg folded over the right, the knees are stacked. And start to settle here. So the more open your hips are, the more parallel your shins will be to the front of the mat. This pose is one of my nemesis, and it's different for me every day. If you surrender forward, you may find it's a little bit easier, creating a little bit more space in the hips. Always long, deep and even breaths. And then release the legs, cross over the feet. So the left leg is crossed in front of the right. Inhale the arms to the sky and lean forward out of the waist. Maybe you can place the hands on a block. I like to do this just as a point of reference, reaching forward from the waist and surrendering over the legs. So this is a really simple pose to help open the hips. It can be very intense. And don't worry about how far forward you come. All that matters is that you feel a stretch. Now twist the body over to the right and lean out over the right knee. So you should really feel this in the outer left hip. Again, you can use the block as a point of reference. Surrendering down and breathing, releasing, joy in the sensations, and then return the spine to neutral and then come up. Come over the feet, step back, downward facing dog, second side. Inhale the left leg to the sky, exhale left knee comes forward, pigeon pose, second side. So left knee to left wrist. Tuck in the right toes behind, keeping the hips parallel. Again, if pigeon is a bit tough on your knees, you can always do thread the needle on your back. Maybe bringing the elbows down to a block or surrendering all the way to the earth, trying to keep a little bit of weight in that right hip to keep the pelvis neutral. And just surrender and let go. Bringing the third eye down, connecting with the earth. Imagine it's a drain and you're releasing anything you don't need through it. Long, even breaths. And on inhale, bring the body back up and we'll swing that right leg round for the seated twist. So right foot plants outside the left knee. Remember, you can always straighten that left leg if it's a bit too much on the hips. Otherwise, fold it back. Inhale the left arm to the sky and twist around to the right, hooking that left elbow outside the right leg, lengthening out the waist as you inhale and twisting as you exhale. And inhale, we'll return back to center and move into cow face, Gomukhasana pose. Again, you can always straighten that left leg if it's a bit too much. The knees are stacked one on top of the other. Hips are snuggled between the heels. And if it feels good, you can lean forward. I find if I lean forward, I just have a little bit more space to move. Surrender here. Release down. Sometimes when you release and you feel the support either from your own body or from a prop, it allows you to release a little bit more because the body knows it's safe. It gives it a point of reference. And whatever we may be holding on to that holds us back, we just start to let go of it a little bit more. Then inhale, come back up. We'll move into Sukhasana, this cross-legged pose. So the right leg is crossed in front of the left. Reach out of the waist and then lean forward. Again, you can use a block or just bring your hands to the earth. Maybe you can bring the forehead down if you have the mobility in the hip joints. Surrendering and breathing. Keeping the feet flexed to protect the knees. Then inhale, rise up, twist the body over to the left and lean out over that left knee. So you should really feel this in the right hip. Long, even breathing, not being attached to how far forward you come. Observing the sensations in the body and in the mind. Then return to the center, come back up to seated. We'll move into a wide-legged forward fold. So bring the heels out and the legs extended. 45 degrees is fine. Toes are pointing up towards the sky. And then lean forward out of the way. So you're rotating the hip joint here, the pelvis around the femur. The bend is coming from the waist. You may come forward only a few degrees, and that's fine. Maybe bringing the elbows to a block, reaching out of the waist, keeping the back straight. As you surrender here and breathe, you may find you can go a little bit deeper. Maybe bring the third eye to a block, or your third eye may extend all the way to the earth. Whatever feels good for you. Keeping the legs active, pressing the backs of them into the earth. Then inhale, slowly come up. Then rotate the waist over the right leg and come forward for a forward bend over the extended right leg. So maybe grabbing the foot, or the hands can just be on the earth. Maybe bringing the forehead to the knee, maybe not. Being content with where your body is, never pushing too far. And inhale, come up. And we'll do the same over the other leg. So different leg can mean a different story. For me, this left side is not as open as the right. That's okay. We have a lot of imbalances in the body. We're not robots. So surrender here and breathe. Go into the limits that's appropriate for you. Then inhale, come back up. Put the hands underneath the backs of the knees. Move the legs together. And we'll release down slowly onto the back. Bring the knees up into the chest, separate the knees, and grab the outside of the feet for happy baby. So you want to try and keep all the spine on the floor, feet to the sky, pushing the knees towards the armpits. If you can't grab the feet, the backs of the legs is fine as well. And then shift the hips over to the right side of the mat. Cross the right leg over the left, maybe double wrapping for eagle legs, and then release the legs over to the left for a spinal twist. Maybe looking over the right shoulder. Should feel a nice stretch here in that right outer hip. And then inhale back to center. Unravel the legs, shift the hips over to the left side of the mat. This time the left leg wraps over right, maybe double wrapping, maybe not. Allow the legs to fall over to the right, looking over the left shoulder, keeping both shoulders on the earth. Long breaths, feeling that stretch in the left outer hip, left side body. Come back up to the center, unravel the legs, bring the hips back to neutral. We'll just do a quick bridge pose, so knees over the ankles, lifting the hips, keeping the shoulders wide, feeling that stretch in the hip flexors, and then exhale, slowly release. We'll move into Savasana, final relaxation, allowing the feet to flop open. Palms face upwards with the fingertips curling towards the heart. Shoulders are snuggled down the back. The eyes are closed. The jaw is relaxed. The tongue is relaxed. And just surrender here and let go. Start to wiggle the fingers and toes, maybe bringing the knees in one by one into the chest. Give yourself a little hug. Then allow the body to just fall over onto your favorite side. Come into the fetal position. And then when you're ready with the eyes closed, just push yourself up to a comfortable seat. Shoulders are stacked over the hips. And bring the palms to the chest in Namaskar Mudra. Feeling the beating of your heart. Bring the palms up to the third eye, then to the lips, and back to the heart. Thank you for practicing with me today, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.